Hello, and welcome to the podcast from Penn State Extension, focusing on farm stress. My name is Ginger Fenton, and I'm an educator on the dairy team based in Mercer County. Today, I will be talking with Jill Varner about how we can handle stress caused by things that are beyond our control. Thank you for talking with me today, Jill.
Thank you, Ginger. Thank you for having me.
Since this is a new series, can you please tell us a bit about your role with Penn State Extension and your involvement with the farm stress team?
Absolutely. I am a food, family, and health educator with Penn State Extension, and I'm actually located up here in Erie County in Erie, Pennsylvania, right along the lake. I'm a fairly new educator. I've been with Penn State Extension for just over 7 months, but I joined the farm stress team kind of because of my own personal life and my own personal upbringing. As a young child, I lived in rural Texas, and we had a hobby farm with horses and chickens. And surrounding us for as long as the eye can see, it was basically cattle ranches in that area. But when I moved as a teenager up into New York, my stepfather was actually a milk truck driver. So he actually drove the big rigs to the farms, and I frequently joined along on those rides and running around and playing on the farms while he was doing his job. Growing up in those communities, my past life before the extension, I actually focused on stress and trauma. So when I saw the opportunity to join the farm stress team and bring my kind of personal career in balance with my personal experiences, I thought that this was an excellent opportunity for me.
We are glad to have you on the team, Jill. In general, can you explain the benefits of talking about stress?
I think stress has a very powerful impact on many, many aspects of your life. Not only does it affect things like your mood, your energy levels, and relationships, but also work performance. Stress can cause a wide variety of health conditions, such as cardiovascular disease, digestive disorders, even decreased immune functioning, which really kind of opens you up to being sick more often. So just in general, stress isn't one of those things to be hidden, but one of those things to get out, definitely one of those things to talk about.
Farmers face many stressors. Some things they can control, while other things like the weather are beyond their control. When dealing with stress, are there differences in how we react to the things that are beyond our control?
It's very important when we're facing situations that are out of our control to really kind of keep in mind what you can control, your mindset. Having the right mindset can help increase productivity and your resilience. That's basically so we're better prepared when times are tough, that we can manage things like our farms and take care of the people in your lives.
If I was a farmer, well, actually, I am a farmer, and I'm getting stressed because I can't get my corn harvested due to large amounts of rain. Do you have suggestions for how I could deal with this day-to-day stress?
One of my first suggestions when I heard you mention that was actually mindset. So the first step of cultivating kind of that positive mindset is to accept the situation that you're in. Making acceptance part of your mindset really helps save time and energy by letting you focus on potential solutions instead of getting so caught up with the stressors or the problem at hand. We want to try to make that word accept part of your self vocabulary, part of the things that you tell yourself, and use deep breathing. It's a wonderful time to pause, accept, and then begin problem solving. If you're in peak stress mode, it's going to be very hard to make decisions and kind of get out of that kind of circle of stressing about things. And no matter how much energy you waste on stressing, you're not getting to any kind of solution. So sometimes we just have to accept things where they are so that we in our heads can move on and begin to make positive, healthy decisions for ourselves.
That's some great advice. Do you suggest different strategies for chronic stress related to weather, such as if an area has experienced a drought for several years? Are we affected differently, and what do we do about that?
All right. When a person is in a chronic state of stress, your body actually has physiological changes. This is kind of raised through cortisol levels. Cortisol is a hormone, and when released for prolonged periods of time, makes our perception of everything around us a little bit skewed. Kind of picture a nice clear glass of water, right? No cloudiness, we can see clearly, we're probably able to think clearly. Now take that beautiful crystal clear cup of water and throw a cup of soil in that. It becomes cloudy, it becomes murky. It makes things impossible to see clearly. Sometimes you can't see anything through the other side of that glass. That muddy water truly represents our brains during prolonged periods of stress. So that's kind of that chronic, ongoing stress. Whereas acute stress is just kind of a disruption in a life event. Whether the stress is acute or chronic, the good news is the same tips can work for you or for somebody that you may be helping. Positive self-talk or positive mindset influences your perception and helps build yourself up to better deal with a stressful situation. There are simple tips like meditating. Put yourself in a happy place. Let your mind settle. If you can do that and practice some deep breathing, one of my favorite things to do is called the box breath, and it's 4, 4, 4, and 4. You're going to take 4 deep breaths in. You're going to hold them for the count of 4. You're going to exhale for the count of 4, and you're going to repeat that process 4 times. Just this simple act of focusing on taking those deep breaths will help calm not only your mind, but will actually help to calm your body so that you're more able to deal with what you really need to be focusing your time and energy into. Exercise. I get it. Any kind of farming that you're doing is a very, very physical job. So some people laugh when I suggest exercise, but really think about the times that you're not moving. If you're in your tractor for long periods of time, it is really important to stop and take those quick breaks, right? If you need to do something, go and check the fence line, walk and look at things. It just helps your brain to refocus. Getting out and physical movement is a huge part of clearing that space for yourself. Another thing that I really suggest is finding a positive social network in your area and participating in things that you enjoy. You know, growing up, as I said, in the small communities that I was a part of, my father was always a part of the local volunteer fire department, and he absolutely loved that. My mom and myself, we were part of the Women Auxiliary. We participated in local fairs in our community. We had things like pumpkin festivals and apple festivals, and it was just a wonderful time for all of us to be together and be happy. I think that's a really, really important part of it. You know, it's not just a waste of time, but allow yourself time to be happy and pursue things that you love to do.
Wonderful suggestions. So as we close our conversation, can you wrap up with a stress management takeaway tip for our listeners?
Absolutely, Ginger. I think one of the best things to do is use self-talk. I think it's very common that when we're dealing with a lot of stress in our lives, that sometimes we are our own worst critic. Sometimes the things that we tell ourselves, we can tend to be pretty ugly to ourselves. Sometimes we'll tell ourselves things that we would never tell anybody else. So why are we so hard on ourselves? When I talk about using self-talk, that really means that the body hears what the mind thinks. Tell yourself that you can overcome any challenge. You can adapt. You have come through rough times before, and you can and you will do it again. You can't always avoid difficult situations, but you can absolutely choose the reactions you have when you experience them. Try choosing 3 words to tell yourself to help maintain the mindset that you want. Wonderful examples are like calm, capable, and controlled.
Thank you, Jill, for sharing with our listeners. Join our team for future episodes as we continue to discuss dealing with stressors that are beyond our control. If you'd like more information on this topic, please visit the Penn State Extension website, which can be found at extension.psu.edu.